Hello, humans, animals, and any other thing that has the brain capacity to watch this video. Today I will be presenting you with a fine cuisine consisting of cringe humor and darkness. With the new Binding of Isaac DLC right around the corner, I felt it was an appropriate time to inform you guys of the Binding of Isaac lore you may not have known existed. Yes, there is more to the game than a naked baby running around crying. Shocking. Let's start with the basics. Isaac, this little boy, was just like any other normal child, who enjoyed playing with toys and pissing their pants. However, after turns of events, Isaac's deranged mother receives a message from God demanding the life of her boy as proof of her faith. Isaac, being terrified, flees into his monster-filled basement where he must fight for survival. Or so we thought. There is much more than meets the eye with this gruesome story. And I'm about to tell you all about that. Isaac once was a happy child. With a father and a mother in his life, and toys to play with in his spare time, he had what any young kid needed. However, that one thing he needed in his life slowly started to deteriorate as his mother and father would argue with each other. These arguments not being his fault still led him to believe it was his fault, that maybe he was the problem in the house. Eventually, his father leaves his home for good, leaving Isaac with a crying mother abusing pills and slowly losing her mind. Isaac is lost, as any other child would be, trying to confront these feelings that, at an age so young, what the heck are you supposed to know? As a child, I still remember playing with Legos and feeling the happiest I could have ever been. Oh, how the times have changed. With the topic of playing as a child, there was only one thing Isaac felt he could do, and that was to use his huge imagination. How does he do this? He does it by going inside his toy chest, pretending it's a whole new world of his own, just like that box episode in SpongeBob. You remember the days of going outside your backyard, picking up some random stick, pretending you were the last Jedi alive, having to take out all these Sith Lords, and you would create your own sound effects and everything? Just me? Alright, Mr. Cool Guy. As I was saying, this whole idea of Isaac entering the chest was to leave reality and enter a world of his own. A world where he wouldn't have to deal with constant screaming and violence, and just live the creative, stupid kid life we all should live. However, once Isaac gets into this toy chest, it ends up locking itself, and sadly, there was no way for him to open it, eventually causing him to die. Now let me get one thing clear, and I am just as sad to say this, but there is no happy ending in The Binding of Isaac. Yes, he goes through all this violence and trauma just to inevitably die. Wow. There is a lot you can take from this story, and I will try my best to explain it all in simple, stupid brain terms. So bear with me. While traversing the floors of Isaac, you would actually be traversing up towards the toy chest, as the basement is all in his head. You get a choice between two items after killing Mom: the Polaroid and the negative. Choosing the Polaroid is choosing Isaac's reminder of reality. In the Polaroid, you can see him with his parents as a happy family that they once were, where they did happy family things like build sandcastles, or eat family dinners, or make fun of other families. Choosing this path leads Isaac up towards the surface of his box, instead of going deeper into an abyss. While going up, he confronts himself as Angel Isaac in the cathedral, where he is ascending into heaven. Killing this version of yourself lets you enter back into the chest, which is as close to a reality as Isaac can ever get. There, you kill dead Isaac in the chest, ridding Isaac of his denial, however keeping him in the box mentally and physically. Man, I could cry reading all this. We just all want a happy ending for our beautiful bald boy, but he just keeps getting screwed over and over again. You wanna know the worst part? That's not even as bad as it gets! Besides the Polaroid, you can also choose the negative route. The negative presents a dark, unrecognizable version of the Polaroid, showing that Isaac is no longer being reminded of his guilt and terrifying memories that he once had. The ending for this choice shows a missing poster, as Isaac has completely left the realm of reality and stuck himself inside this world of his own. doing the opposite of the Polaroid and fighting Satan and the Lamb to rid himself of the evil in his mind. But me, there's not enough heroic sacrifice I could make to rid myself of my sins. Another thing I wanted to add on was the items in this game. Yes, you do have huge ass lasers you can shoot from your face, and cool swords. However, a lot of these items depict things that have happened in his life, like abuse, sadness, neglect, dead cats. I love the small details, like how the wooden spoon or dad's belt increases your speed, shows a sign of Isaac being beaten in his past, causing him to run away in panic or fear. The capacity and power a wooden spoon has to your ass cheeks can be extremely overwhelming, so I completely understand. How the in-game fly items protect him could be a sign of how they were his only friend at the time, besides his imagination. Or items like breakfast being literally just spoiled milk. Even the damage up items, like Cricket's head or growth hormones, being things in his life that have caused damage to him. These small little details can easily tell a lot about Isaac's past. Of course, the Godhead where he ascends might be a little imaginative, but you get the point. Two items in Isaac that have really grabbed my eye and other players' eyes is Dad's Key and Wire Coat Hanger. What interests me about Dad's Key is what it does. It opens any door in the room, indicating a sign of how the dad uses the key to get away from his problems, just like he did to Isaac and his mother. Talk about speedrunning marriage. As for the coat hanger, there is a lot of talks and discussions exactly what it could be. After unlocking it, you see an ending of it being inside Isaac, and as you may know, they are used for abortions. Could it be Isaac was the victim behind a failed abortion? Could definitely be, as after beating his mom's heart enough times, it turns into It Lives. It Lives literally being Isaac fighting himself. Beating this could be a sign of beating the attempt and surviving for a chance at life. Another theory behind it is that Isaac's mom wanted a daughter, which is why we can see Isaac dressing up in his mother's clothes, or why his mother gifted him a wig. She wanted a daughter although she couldn't have one, or maybe the daughter she was having turned out being a failure, and sadly she was unable to live through birth. Or maybe he just hates coat hangers. There's a lot of theories spoken on this topic, but I personally like the idea of Isaac fighting for survival for himself. It makes a lot of sense, to me at least. Majority of things in Isaac also have a religious connection to it, Christianity being the religion in this situation. Macmillan himself did say the game wasn't to bash it, but rather use it as a catalyst. Mankind in the idea of Christianity is naturally sinful. This fills Isaac with the shame we can see. In Ending 12, we can see himself as a demon, reading the Bible and looking over at the chest looking sad. Not certain is it about religion, however it is likely. We can also see in Ending 11 that Isaac approaches the box, flashing through all these made up characters. We know they are made up as we never see Blue Baby, as he is from reality being the dead version of Isaac, while these other characters are all just from his mind. See kids, sometimes reading books is bad for you. Most enemies we see in the basement are all a part of his dream world, just like the basement itself. The items referencing his abusive life are examples of what led to the breaking of his mind, but by using these items as well as powerful religious items, he can overcome his fears and be the hero he's always wanted to be. Isaac also befriends a lot of the monsters he meets. Although his entire imaginary world of his is of him escaping, he still takes the use of creativity and abstractness from what he knew in the real world and uses that in his imaginary world. It's beautiful. The meaning of the game has been in the title all along. The Binding of Isaac. He is binding his mind, shielding it away from damage by descending into his own world. The interpretation of these items don't have to be correct, as what the real point is that his view of reality is becoming foggy and unclear, and we are playing through it as he retreats and hides from it. The game is dark, horrifying, sad, and my god, it's weird. However, it really is a beautiful view of items, signifying a manipulated childhood in a game And the whole idea of the box being a world of his own to escape the real world that is full of trauma is just moving and beautiful. Now, if I had to shorten it and give a TLDR for those of you who skipped through this video, scumbags, I would have to say Isaac is just a victim of a shitty life where he makes up a world of his own that he traps himself in because that's where he feels safest and happiest. My god, this game's story really blows my mind. The way everything is depicted is fascinating. I swear I was up late at night trying to figure out some secret ass meaning behind the feces in the game. It had me going crazy. This video is definitely more on the serious side of things because, come on man, it's a little hard to make jokes about this. It's just horrifying. You know what else is horrifying? That some of you aren't subscribed to this channel. Make sure you subscribe, guys. We're so close to 3 subscribers. Thanks. I also want to add an apology. If the video was a bit whack on your mind, I tried explaining it the best way possible, in a simple way for new and veterans of the game, as well as actually getting the story's information correct. However, if you would like to read an explanation that is a lot more detailed and probably smarter than mine, I will leave a link to an article in the description. I definitely recommend checking it out if you're interested. I hope I explained this in a way that you can understand and relate to the pain Isaac did. Well, maybe not relate, but understand. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, do leave a little cheeky like, and maybe even a cheeky subscription. If you're feeling bodacious, of course. Let me know what you're excited for with the new upcoming DLC. And what's the weirdest soup flavor you've ever heard of? This has been your boy, and I'll see you whenever.